Hello, and welcome to this update on the 2015 Card Player of the Year race, sponsored by CarbonPoker. I'm Diana Cox, and I'm here to bring you a look at the tournaments that made the biggest impact on the POI race in May as we prepare for the inevitable shakeup to come at the WSOP. But first, let's check out the current top 10 in the POI standings. Anthony Zinno continues to lead the pack with a whopping 4,216 points, while Taylor Power continues to be his nearest competitor with 2,994. The World Poker Tour and the European Poker Tour both wrapped up their seasons with gigantic closing series. Here is a look at how the event's finales caused the biggest changes to the POI leaderboard. Joe Keither climbed to third place in the POI rankings with a win in a $2,500 no-limit hold'em prelim at the Borgata Spring Poker Open, the series that hosts the WPT Championship. This was Keither's 7th final table score and his first title of the year, having finished runner-up twice already in 2015. He also finished 6th in the $1 million guaranteed $2,700 buy-in event in the same series just a week earlier. As a result, he now sits on 2,791 points and a year-to-date earnings of $1,307,454. Keither wasn't the only player to go on a run at this series. Asher Conniff won the $1 million guaranteed $560 buy-in kickoff event, and then 2 weeks later went on to top a field of 239 entries in the $15,000 WPT Championship main event to win $973,683 and 1,152 points. With these two scores, he now sits just outside the top 20 in 22nd place. As the WPT wrapped its season stateside, the European Poker Tour launched into its final series in Monte Carlo. The EPT Grand Final €10,600 no-limit hold'em main event drew 564 entries, but in the end, the title went to 20-year-old Spaniard Adrian Mateos. For the win, the 2013 WSOP Europe champ earned €1,082,000 and the honor of being the first ever Spanish EPT champion. He has now made 3 POI qualified final tables this year and has climbed into 5th place in the overall 2015 Player of the Year standings with 2,376 points and $1,276,805 in year-to-date earnings. Poker Hall of Famer Eric Seidel furthered his legend when he topped a record field of 59 entries in the 2015 European Poker Tour Grand Final €100,000 buy-in no-limit hold'em super high roller. Seidel defeated 19-year-old Polish rising star Dmitry Urbanovic heads up to capture his 28th career title and the €2,015,000 first place prize. Urbanovic was far from done in Monaco though. Less than a week later, he finished 3rd in the €10,200 high roller for another $112,776 and 320 points. This was his 9th final table of 2015, and as a result, he now sits in 4th place in the overall standings with 4 titles, a total of 2,598 POI points, and year-to-date earnings of $2,568,415. Scott Seaver finished 4th in that event and 8th in the €100,000, his 5th and 6th POI qualified final table finishes of the year respectively. Through his consistent runs to super high roller final tables this year, he has put together $2,368,868 in year-to-date earnings and 1,950 POI points, enough to catapult him into 10th place in the POI standings. The last EPT Grand Final tournament to really stir up the POI standings was the €25,000 high roller. The event drew a record field of 215 entries to build a massive prize pool equivalent to over $5.8 million US. Eventual champ Charlie Carell took home $1,236,540 and 1,260 points at his 2nd final table of the year. He now sits in 17th place in the standings. Finishing 3rd in that event was none other than Steve O'Dwyer, who earned $586,857 and 840 points at his 3rd final table of 2015. When you factor in his gigantic win in the $100,000 super high roller at the PCA for $1,872,580 and 720 points, it's easy to see why he now sits in 13th place in the standings with 1,840 points and $2,582,677 in year-to-date earnings. That is it for the May edition of the 2015 Card Player Player of the Year race, brought to you by CarbonPoker. Thanks for watching.